So, hello everybody. Today we're gonna have a look at a little tutorial for my final work in the military academy. We're going to discuss how we have to work with SolidWorks, and we're going to build something like this. We're going to build a cone, and in that cone we're going to put a hole. In this hole we will be able to put we're going to put a bar in it, which can be moved inside of the cone, a bar that we can move upside and downsides. So just trying to show you what we're going to make. This is actually my last tutorial, but it didn't work out pretty well. So this is the cone that we're going to make, and this is the hole that we're going to put inside of it, and then we're going to make a little bar, this bar, that we can put inside of the cone. It's just two simple parts that we will try to merge in the assembly. And the assembly is going to look like this. So we're going to put it inside of the cone, and after that we're going to move the parts inside of the motion study, but that will be clearer when we start working. So first of all, we're going to open SolidWorks. So once the SolidWorks screen has opened, the first thing you have to do is to create a new part, because the assembly contains several parts, and in this case it will be two parts. So we click on the new tab and we open a new part and we click OK. Now, first of all, when creating a part, a 3D part, the first step you always have to do is a sketch. You always have to make a sketch. This is the first thing you do. So we're going to the feature sketch, we click sketch, and then we have to choose a plane. So that's actually the plane, the reference plane in which you will be working. The main goal of creating a sketch is actually you have to create a 2D figure which you will use to make a 3D figure, to make a 3D volume. So in this case we're going to work in the front plane, and I am going to make a sketch for a cone, and we can make two types of sketches: a sketch from an outer plane, or the sketch from an inner plane. And in this case I'm going to use an inner plane, and I'm going to build a cone with certain numbers. So this is what our plane, what our sketch looks like. It's just 3 lines in this case, and a very important thing that you need to keep in mind is that when creating a sketch, you always have to make sure that the sketch is completely closed. So you can't make something like this. If you make something like this, it will give an error, and you will not be able to make your part because it has to be closed over here. So there we have a good sketch. We just have to exit sketch, and then when we have made our sketch, in order to make it in order to create a 3D volume, we have to use this 2D figure in a certain way. We can rotate it around an axis, or we can make it longer in order to make the 3D volume. In this case, we're going to rotate it. And whenever you have made a sketch, you always have to use the extruded boss or the revolved boss. In this case, we're going to use the revolved boss. For the next part, we're going to use the extruded boss. So now we select the sketch, we select revolved boss, and then to the left of the screen, SolidWorks is asking an axis of revolution. This is the axis we will use to revolve around. In this case, I'm going to use the center axis of my cone, which is the left axis, and then immediately SolidWorks will give you an idea of how your 3D figure will look like after rotating 360 degrees around this axis. So this is actually the cone that we will get. You can do some special things, like if you want to create a half cone or a half figure, you can enter 180 degrees in this space. You just have to push enter, and then you will see that we get a full a half cone. You can also work with the thing here. You can take it and you can use it to rotate till you feel like it's enough. So you can do like this, and then you can complete it, but it's way easier to put 360 degrees over here, and then you just have to click OK, and then you get your 3D volume. So this is our cone, which was pretty simple. And now the thing we're going to do next is to create a hole in the center of the cone. So every time you do a 3D volume, you need to make a new sketch. So now we're going to cut out a volume, so which is 3D, and in order to do that we have to create a new sketch. So go to sketch, we click on new sketch, and then we have to choose a new plane. The last time we chose the front plane, but this time we're going to have to choose another plane, because this plane is going to be used to cut out the hole. So the thing you want to do is you want to choose a plane in which it is easiest to cut out your object, and this time it's the bottom plane. So we choose the bottom plane. We're still editing the sketch, which we can see here, and then we're just going to make a circle. You just have to click circle here. So in order to make sketches, you can work with lines, you can work with a rectangle like this, you can work with this figure, and then you can make this. We're just going to Control Z, it's your best friend. You can make circles, you can draw lines which are oh, we did something wrong. Yeah, first of all, when working with SolidWorks you will get a lot of errors. So every time you do something wrong you will get an error. So we're just gonna start all over again, and we're gonna go with the circle. I click the circle. Now I just have to put it on my plane, and as the center point of my circle, I choose the center point of my reference axis, which is in this case the center of my cone, and I go like this, and I click again, and I have a circle. But the thing is, the diameter of my circle is 7.6 millimeters times 2, but I want to have one with a diameter of 10 millimeters. Then I just have to click 10 millimeters, and we're not working with the diameter but with distance from the middle point to the outer circle. So we just have to click 10 divided by 2. You push enter and SolidWorks will calculate the distance for you, which is 5 in this case. Then we just have to click OK and exit sketch, and our sketch is finished. This is our second sketch that we prepared. It's a circle. Now we're going to use this circle to make a hole inside of our cone. We're going to do it like this. We go to features, you select sketch, and then you have this. Then you have two important features over here: extruded cut and revolved cut. This time we're going to use extruded cut. Next time, in the next exercise, I will use revolved cut to explain you the difference. Now we're going to use extruded cut. Extruded cut. And what do we see? He will give an example of what you can realize with the extruded cut. You just have to take the top and drag it all over to the top, and then when I click OK, I will have my hole in the center. You can also work, I'm going to push Ctrl Z. You can also work with other features like flip side to cut, and this way the object that is the volume that is being cut is the only volume that will remain. In this case we will have the inner volume that stays and the rest is being removed, but that's not what we want to achieve. So we're going to do problem. You have to select sketch, very important. Then you click extrude cut again, and then we're going to choose true all. And the main advantage of clicking true all means that in the direction to the top as in the direction to the bottom, everything will be removed according to the circle that we draw. So we're gonna click OK, and now we have our volume, we have our cone with a hole in it, a hole with diameter 10 millimeters. Now next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the revolved cut. And what can we use it for? The revolved cut is actually the same thing as extruded cut, but just as the revolved base, we will use an axis to cut around. So when we're working with revolved boss or base and revolved cut, we always use an axis to work around. This time we're going to use it to make the surface of our cone a little bit smoother. So we're going to make a new sketch, very important, new sketch. We have to select a new plane, and I need to select a plane which is this plane that is standing the plane of the screen you're looking at right now, but I can't select it here. So you can select the planes by clicking this little thing, and then you have three planes here: the front plane, top plane, right plane. I'm gonna go for the right plane now. So now I'm going to work in the plane that is lying inside of our screen. Then I'm going to make some gotta extrude it, new sketch. So I just lost my plane, so we will have to look it up again. Okay, so here it is. So, we choose this line, and we go to the edge of our cone, and in this edge we will have to draw our line. I'm just trying to search for the top line here. So here is the space where our plane cuts our cone. So we're going to start here on top, and then we're going to go down like this, like this, like this. I'm just randomly drawing things. So after we're finished doing this, the surface of our cone will look just as I'm drawing it right now. But if you don't like these sharp edges, you can just go with these lines which are more smoother. And you just have to click, 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 and finish. And there, we're finished. And now we will see a little problem. So I just finished creating the whole sketch from bottom to top, and now I'm going to exit sketch. I'm going to use this sketch again, Tool, Revolved Cut, but it's not yes, it's good, and then we're going to use the axis. Oh yeah, we forgot, we first need to create an axis. So this axis, I can't select an axis because I don't have an axis in the middle. So we first need to create an axis, which is no problem. To create reference geometries as planes, as axes, as points, you just have to use the reference geometry feature. You just click it, and then you have to choose a plane, axis, point, whatever. I want an axis, so I click axis, and then it's going to ask, how do you want to define the axis? An axis is being defined by 2 points, minimum 2 points, or by the cutting edge of 2 planes. So I'm going to, here it's way easier for me to choose 2 planes, and then I have to choose the 2 planes inside of the screen, which are the front plane and the right plane. And what do we see when we choose these 2 planes here? They will get one cutting line in the middle, and that's by coincidence. No, not by coincidence. That is our center line. So then we click OK. You can also go for 2 points, and then you have to select 2 points that you have drawn, but it's way easier to work with the planes. We go with OK. We go back to our revolved, excuse me, you have to click sketch, then we go to our revolved cut, and then we have to select our axis, click, and then the axis will appear over here. Then we have to choose 360 degrees. First of all, I will use 180 degrees just to show you the effect, and then I will explain how you have to do it for 360 degrees. So as I thought, we get rebuild errors because of the fault that we made in our sketch. The fault that we made was, who knows, we're going to edit sketch. The problem is we didn't make a completely closed sketch. So you always have to close your sketch. It always have to be 360 degrees closed. So here we see that this point and this point, they aren't connected. So we just go like this. You put it over here, over here, over here, no biggie, and then you connect it with the beginning point. And now we have a completely closed sketch, and now we can work properly. So we go to sketch again, we go to yeah, first we have to exit sketch, then we go to features. We're going to use revolved cut, so sketch revolved cut. We select our axis of revolution, we select 180 degrees, and as again you get a preview of what it's going to look like. This time I'm just gonna go with OK. So I decided to make the cone half smooth, so we can see the difference before and after, you see. So that's actually the working on the surface of our cone. Now what am I going to do? I'm just going to edit our cut revolve into 180 degrees, so, or we can yeah, we're just gonna 180, I mean 360 degrees. We push enter, it goes OK, then we click OK, and now we see that our cone has been completely redesigned, so it's way better like this. So we're going to save this part is finished. Then now we're just gonna click on desktop, and I'm going to call this cone. We save, and that's it. Now we're gonna make a new part, which is the bar that fits inside of this cone. New part, OK. First things first, the first thing we always do is sketch. Click on sketch. This time I'm gonna go with the top plane. I'm making the little circle in my sketch, and the circle has to be smaller than 10 diameters, because the hole in the cone had a diameter of 10 millimeters. So if I want to put something inside of it, it has to be smaller than 10 millimeters, otherwise it won't fit. So we're just gonna go with 9.9 millimeters, enter, and we're going to go with OK. Now what are we gonna do? We're gonna make a long bar out of it. So we're gonna take sketch, we're going to exit sketch first, then we're going to feature, we select our sketch, and we go to extruded boss. And now SolidWorks is asking us, how long do you want to make your cylinder? But I don't know how long it has to be, because it's in my it has to fit in here. So in order to make our bar long enough, we need to check how long our cone is. So you can do this with a feature that is called Smart Dimension. You just click on Smart Dimension, then you click on Reference Dimension, and then you just select the two items between which you want to know the distance. So I click the bottom, then I click the top line, and then here it will disappear. So it's 31.54 millimeters long, so we're just gonna go with 32 millimeters. This way it will surely fit. So we're going back to our other part, oops, the other one, and then we have to do it all over again. We're gonna click extruded boss, and then here we're going to click 32 millimeters. I'm gonna go with enter, and then OK. So this is the bar that will fit inside of our cone. After this, we're going to put a handle on it so we can grab it with our hands. To do this, we need to make a new sketch. We're going to make the sketch on top of this, and I'm going to make a new circle. I'm going to make it a little bigger. That's okay. Exit sketch, select sketch, extruded boss, and then we can decide how long we want to make our handle, but that's not long enough, so that's too long, so we're gonna go with this. That's nice, and we go with okay, and then this is the part that will fit in our cone, but it looks a little small, so I'm just gonna check if we didn't do anything wrong. So I'm gonna go for smart dimension, reference dimension. I'm gonna click. I want to know the distance between these two items. It's 32, and in our last part it was 31. Yeah, that's okay. So it will fit. So now we're just going to save back again in Robot desktop. I'm gonna call this the bar, and that's it. Now I'm gonna open something really new. We're gonna go for a new assembly. An assembly is actually the project in which you're gonna put all of your parts together. So I'm gonna go with OK. And then to the left, SolidWorks will ask you what parts do you want to put in here. So you just have to click. If he doesn't present anything, you just have to click browse. You go to the map you saved your parts in, and I'm gonna go with the bar. Open bar. Then it's pretty fluent. You can choose where you put it. I'm just gonna put it here. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just a warning when you're working with an official version from Abal. You will get the error of that you're working with an educational version, but that's you don't have to worry about it. But I need another part as well, so where's my other one? I just have to click insert components. I'm gonna click with the cone. I'm gonna put the cone right here. I'm gonna go with OK. Oh, it seems that we made a little mistake. It looks as if our bar is too big. Okay, that's no biggie. I'm just gonna go and look for the diameter. We had a diameter of 10, and I'm just gonna have to put something right in the bar. So we're just gonna take a look at our first sketch. Edit. Smart dimension. Oh, we have 19.8. That's not good. We need to have 9.9, because the other one was 10, so if you want it to fit in, it has to be 9.9. So now we can simply adjust our sketch, and the rest of the part will adjust itself. Exit. Now we see that the bar, the handle, is way too big, so we're gonna make this a little smaller as well. That was this one. Edit sketch. We click smart dimension, click the circle, and he will ask modify, and we're gonna make it 20. That's way better. You exit smart dimension. We click OK. We exit sketch, and then we have our improved part. We're going to now we're going back to our assembly. When we click assembly, he will ask you, he will tell you, SolidWorks will tell you that one of the parts has been changed, and he will ask you, will you do this change in the assembly? And if you don't answer, he will do it for you. And normally you just have to click yes. That's no biggie. So now we have our two parts. Just gonna remove this one. Just click delete. So now we have our two parts. Well, I'm gonna make this one, the bar, I'm gonna give it another color because this way it will look better. I like red. I'm gonna give it a red color. That's okay. So that's the advantage of the assembly. You can also edit your parts in the assembly, so you don't always have to go you don't always have to close your assembly and go in the part itself to arrange it. So that's pretty easy. Now we have our assembly, but the problem is we can't move our things in all directions, you see. So if you want to put the bar inside of the cone, the part we can't move the part because that's the first part that I put in the assembly, and therefore it's actually the reference point. So this one is, you can move it, but you can make it move by clicking by right mouse click, and then you have to click float, and then it's movable again. So no biggie. So now the problem we have now is we can put the bar inside of the cone, but you see this is not really nice, and you can do like this, and that's not good. That sucks. So you just have to put mates inside of your assembly. That's actually a pretty easy trick to do. You just have to click mate, and mate is actually a restriction that's being put upon your model. So in this case I will restrict the bar to move from left to right, and this restriction will mean that the bar can only move upwards and downwards, so that we won't see this happening. So you just have to click mate selection, then we have to choose what we want to mate, and you always have to use references, so you can mate to a point, to a plane, or two planes to each other, or you can say that this point has to lay on top of the axis of this. So in this case I'm just gonna go with the, where is it, the axis of my cone. So I want this axis to be this on top of the axis of my bar, but the problem is in my bar I don't have an axis. So you just have to go back to the part, and here we're gonna make a new reference point, a new axis. So damn, where was it? Oh, here it is, reference geometry. You just click it. I'm gonna go with axis again. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna choose two planes, the front plane and the right plane. Then I get my axis in the middle. I go with OK. That's okay. I open my assembly. He asks me, do you want to change your new part? Yes, I want to change my new part. Then I go to the assembly, and now I click mates again, and I want the axis of the bar to be on top of the axis of my cone. So I just go to axis 1, I select axis 1. So both of the axes are in the mate section, and then I'm just gonna go with coincident. That means that they are on top of each other. You can also go with parallel, and that means that the bar will be able to be here and here, but it will always be able to move up and down. But that's just personal choice. I'm gonna click for coincident, and then we see I can't move it to left or right. So now they're stuck to each other. I can only move it upwards and downwards. So I'm gonna go with okido. So now we have this. So that's nice. I can move it to left to right without moving the other one. So that's perfect. But oh, little problem. It's still, yeah. Everybody knows that this is not meant to be. So what are we going to do? Now I'm going to put this surface equal with this surface, and this way our bar will be able to go till here when we just see it, and not further. So we're gonna do it as next. You select this surface, right mouse click, you go to mate, and then you see it will automatically make them mate. And the thing we're going to do now is we're going to say to SolidWorks that this part can move up and down as with two maximum points. So first maximum point is here and the other maximum point is somewhere over there. So we're just gonna click advanced mates. Here we're gonna click distance, and then the first mate, the first distance, what we see here is a beginning distance. So when we open the assembly and we put here 5, then there will be 5 millimeters between these both surfaces. So we're just gonna put this one to 0. It's nice to start with a closed cone. And the maximum distance over here, so this is the minimum distance, which is 0 again, and the maximum distance we're going to put it at 40 because the cone is 30 millimeters high plus 10 millimeters over here, which gives us about 40, or we can make it 50, no problem. No, this has to be 0, and the maximum we're going to put it on 50. I'm gonna click OK, OK, and now what will happen? If we take the cone, I go downwards, nothing happens. I go upwards, and it goes till here. So I can't go any further up or any further down. So these are the restrictions that we have given our model, and this way we won't be able to do any bad things. So the mates are a very important feature in SolidWorks. Now what's next? We've just finished making two parts. We've assembled them in the assembly. We've put mates on it, so restrictions for the movements. And now the last step is to make an animation of it. So in the same assembly, we just have to click Motion Study down below, and then we get a timeline. To the left we get orientation and camera views and the different parts that we can move and the mates. So what are we gonna do now? Now we're actually going to make a little movie. Pretty exciting, huh? So we're gonna do it as next. We're first gonna make it spin like this, so the the person who sees the video on YouTube or whatever gets a complete view of the cone, and then we're gonna make this move up and down. So first of all we're gonna click we're gonna click over here. Oh yeah, really important, when you work in Motion Studio you have to close this thing, because when you're working like this you're gonna put your assembly in the middle of this little screen, but when you're making the video your part will be completely to the right of your screen. So you have to make sure that you close this window and click this button to center your assembly. I'm just gonna click like this. This way we're completely perfect. This is our starting position. We're going to disable the view key creation, so we're going to enable it. And now if we go and click 2 seconds, and you just have to click the middle mouse button and hold it, and then you move, and then the screen will move with you. And when you let go of it, you see that here there's a new point created, and what happens between your starting position and the position that you defined at 2 seconds, there will be a smooth movement, and you can do this for 4 seconds. So I'm gonna take it like this. I'm gonna turn it to the right and give it another spin, and then we go like this. Then we click 6 seconds, and then I want to show the YouTubers the the below surface of our assembly, and then it becomes like this, and there we go. Now we're gonna go back to this place, which is nice, centered, nice. And now we're gonna make it move. I'm gonna put it a bit like this, and now we're gonna make the bar move. I'm just gonna disable view key, because if I click here and I change the camera, you see a new point will be created, and that's like that gives a lot of problems. So then you have to delete these points, and so we're just gonna disable view key creation. This way I can turn the image and the camera without creating a new camera point. So now we're gonna take the bar. Every time you make a movement of a part, just like this, when I want to move the part at 8 seconds, I just move it. Then we see over here at the line of the bar, there's a long green line. A green line means motion of a part. So here we see that the part is actually moving during the whole animation, which is not good. I just wanted to move over here, so I'm just gonna delete this. Then I'm gonna go at 8 seconds again, and I'm gonna go at the level of the bar, and I'm gonna do right mouse button, place key. And now this is our basic standard key for our part. Then we go a little further, and at 10 seconds I want the bar to go over there, and then we see that there is a movement between 8 seconds and 10 seconds, so between the two created points. So this way the bar won't move during the first seconds, and it will only start moving when I tell it to move. So then we get this. So we're just gonna click render. Now it's calculating everything. Just click here. When this thing is yellow, it means it's rendered, so it's good. That's something good. So looking at the movie, it gives us this, and up we go. Now I'm gonna make a new camera key, and I want to take a look at how the part can disappear. So now I'm gonna make a new key, and at this moment I want the part to be completely disappeared. So I'm gonna click hide component, and then we see a purple line. A purple line means the disappearing or appearing from parts. So this is gonna give us this. So when we push play, there it is, motion, and it becomes invisible. So, and this way you can create multiple effects, and you can really create a movie starting from nothing, actually. So that's pretty awesome. When we finished making our movie, then we're simply going to need to export it to in the file in a movie file. So this is a process called rendering. You just have to click this button, save animation, and then we click here desktop. We're gonna call it cool movie. Microsoft Avi, you can change the file, but Avi is really good. SolidWorks screen. Here you can change the resolution. So the thing you want to do is you always want to make it high resolution, just as if you're looking at it in cinema. So when you're looking at YouTube, the highest resolution is 1080. Oh, I gotta plug in my, yeah, well, I know it by heart. You have to you need to have a nice resolution in order to have a nice animation and that it looks good. So the best resolution that you can do is 1920 to 1080, That's a 16:9 widescreen, which is pretty nice. Oh yeah, you have to click fixed aspect ratio, you have to unclick it, and then here you have to put 1920 and 1080, and then it will give you 1.77777, and that is actually that's 16:9. So now this is okay. Then we have to choose our frames per second, and when choosing frames per second, you want to have at least you want to at least have 25, well actually 24 frames per second. This gives you a nice fluent animation. When making an animation with frames of 10 seconds, 10 frames per second, it will be really shocky, and it's not nice. So you need to have at least 24 frames per second, and you want to have this during the entire animation. Then we just have to click upsilon or save. This is okay. Here you don't have to change anything except for when you're a pro. Just have to click OK. SolidWorks is always going to give you this error file. You just have to click no. He says it may result in a corrupt AVI, but that's never the case. So, and now you see, part by part, he's rendering the animation in order for it to become a nice fluent movie. So in order, yeah, to make a nice movie, this may take a long while when you have an old computer. When your movie, now we're making a movie of 12 seconds. When you're making a movie of a couple of minutes, it's and you're using more than 24 frames per second, or you're using a higher resolution, it will only increase your time. So actually the minimum basics you need to have is 24 frames per second, 1920 times 1080, and yeah, that's it. So that's actually the minimum that you need to have. Well, it's actually nice to have. You can do it with less, but then your video will actually be not so good. So almost finished. Exciting. I'm gonna go to the desktop. There it is. So you see the computer is reacting a little slow because it's a really heavy process. So here I can already see my cool movie, but it's still 0 bytes, so we're gonna have to wait a little longer. Okay, almost finished. And we're done. Now I'm going back to the movie. Now we see that a little screen has a little miniature has come up. Double click and we get a nice full HD view with 24 frames per second, and then we get a nice animation. Yeah, just make sure that at the end you make your, so you saw at the end of the video, it's pretty roughly, it stops pretty fast, so you just have to take this point and make it a little longer, and this way at the end of your movie you will see a couple of seconds this image, which is actually a nicer effect. Yeah, that's about it. Good luck with your assembly, with your parts, with your project, and if in any case you have problems or whatever, YouTube is filled with thousands of tutorials. You can find hundreds of forums of SolidWorks online in which your problem will surely have been discussed at least one time in history. So good luck.